It's Operation Babble with Myke Shrews. It's pop culture, music, movies, TV too. It's time to explore life. It's Operation Babble time.
What up?
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, Tivis. How you been?
I am here.
Awesome.
Physically.
Welcome back, everybody, to Operation Babble Season 3 of this show. Holy crap, why are we doing seasons? That's something I just decided to do. So it's a new year too, dude. It's 2022. To date the show, it's 2022.
An even year.
An even year. No. Well, maybe it'll be even better then, right? Or even worse. Only time can tell. Anyways, welcome back, everybody, to Operation Babble. I am, of course, Myke Shrews, here with my co-host Tivis, and today we are going to talk about Spider-Man. What is the name of this movie again?
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
Which this will include spoilers for pretty much everything involving the MCU at this point. And if you haven't or avoiding Morbius, the trailer, we're going to probably touch on that too.
Yes. So we'll be talking about basically any comic book stuff that has been released so far, movies included, or trailers included, I mean. And we might even talk about Hawkeye a little bit here. So if you have not watched Hawkeye, which it was a Christmas show anyways, so you probably should have watched Hawkeye. Just go watch Hawkeye.
Yeah, Mike.
So Hawkeye spoilers, Spider-Man spoilers, pretty much everything leading up to Spider-Man spoilers, possibly in the MCU,
Venom,
any comic book thing you can think of, spoilers that's out already, officially released.
If you're not caught up, you probably shouldn't listen.
Yes, we don't want to ruin anything for anybody. That's why we also waited.
Go ahead and stay.
Yeah. And that's also a reason why we waited a little bit longer to do this episode as well. Not to mention the holidays and
I was gonna say one of them,
all the other stuff. So, so we will dive into that after I let you guys know. You can find us on Facebook at Operation Babble, and you can also join our Facebook group at Operation Babble. Group is literally what it's called. If you go to the Facebook page, our main Facebook page, you can find the group that way, or you can just look in the description of the video and or audio that you're listening to. We have it.
Your creativity with naming it knows no bounds.
It's gone down a lot lately. I've had too many things.
We have two things.
It's Operation Babble Group. Like, what am I supposed to name it? Come on, man. Like,
Bunzo.
We'll change the name later. Until then, it's Operation Babble Group.
We probably won't.
We probably won't. You can also find us too on Twitter. Very rarely, and do we post on Twitter? It's usually
I've barely been on
about
Twitter.
The show and stuff. So. All right. With that said, you can also find me and Tivis on another podcast that we recently started called The Monster Cast. I believe we talked about this last year for our Christmas episode. If you have
well named.
Yep. If you have not checked it out, look, I ran that name through many of people. So I gave them multiple options for that name. I went through groups of people to get that name good. So if you have not checked that out, it's The Monster Cast, and it's on all social platforms. Well, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, and the page is also in the Facebook group page as well for Operation Babble. And then we are on all streaming services, just like Operation Babble is. So if you want to check that out, if you're into the monsters, it's literally all monsters. It's nothing like this show where we do a crap load of tangents and comic book.
There's some tangents,
but not as many, I'm saying. And usually
We
the
try
tangents
to rein it in.
revolve around the topic being discussed. So with that said, again, spoilers for all the comic book stuff, movies, and trailers released.
And I apologize because
thus
my allergies are kicking my ass today.
So let's dive into Spider-Man No Way Home. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. I'm not going to say it again. Spoilers. All right. Tivis, let's go. Now
All
that
right.
I've talked for 5 minutes.
So you want to do the stuff we like and then the big problem we have with it later on? Because I'm going to let you guys in on a secret. We both love this fucking film.
Oh,
I mean, there's big problems with it that we'll get into, but it's just minuscule in comparison how much fun this movie is.
Yeah. Oh, they definitely get you with a lot of nostalgia factor, I'll say, too.
Oh, yeah.
With this
There's
one,
no way this movie should have worked, like, at all. Previous comic movies that include this many characters have not done well.
Yeah. There's fucking 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 main characters. I want to say 13 if you include J Jonah. So you got about 13 mainish characters. Happy, I guess 12 because Happy's not really in the movie a whole lot.
No, but neither is JJ.
Yeah, but he's a big part of the film, though.
He is. But I mean, if we're going by just how much screen time they get,
You still got about 11 main people, though.
yeah.
Oh, no, 12. I forgot Doctor Strange is barely in it, too. I forgot about
Yeah,
him
he
being
gets
in the-
sidelined.
Yeah, so let's dive into this film. We start off right where we ended with the credit scene, end credit scene for Spider-Man Far From Home.
Oh, you wanted to do a breakdown of this?
Oh, well, I'm just saying, well, that's where we start this movie off.
Oh, okay.
So and we dive into like the whole Mary Jane. That these people knew that she was dating Spider-Man just because Spider-Man dropped her off. Is that what I'm gathering? Because they're like, oh, she knows Spider-Man.
I mean,
she's dating Spider-Man. I'm like,
have you seen you haven't seen MODOK, have you?
No, I have not watched MODOK yet.
There's an episode where this lady meets Wonder Man. They literally just have a conversation, and all of a sudden it's all over the internet that they're dating. And you mean the person I literally just spoke to for the first time?
Okay.
So
yeah, I guess so. That's how most paparazzis and shit are. Oh my gosh, this person's dating this person. Yeah. But these people literally just saw her standing in the street. Like, how many of them were paying attention to Spider-Man dropping her off like 10 minutes ago or 5 minutes?
That's a good question. It is New York. They don't. I've seen what happens on those subways. Those people ignore a lot.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And this is a world that it's already known that all these superheroes exist and no one really pays attention. As you know, this in Hawkeye, no one really gives a fuck about Avengers, really. So
no, he does get a free meal though.
Yes, he does. Okay. We'll give him one free meal, which is a really expensive meal too. We'll go into that later. Anyways, yeah, so I just found that awkward for me at the moment, but I guess thinking back to it, like in that in perspective and everything, yeah, I guess like, oh my gosh, they're dating because the superhero dropped her off. Like, but no one thought about that about Lois Lane and Superman, did they?
I don't know. Maybe because that was a bit more publicized since she was, a known reporter who talks about him often.
Right. Okay. So where do you want to go from here? Because this is like the blow up of everything for this movie. They do a lot of fast. This movie is fast, bro. Like it is fast. Like it has a few slow times, which is needed for emotion, but other than that, it's pretty fast.
And honest to God, there's no time wasted in this film at all.
No, No, I don't feel there's any wasted time at all. There's a few like clips here and there that you could be like, oh, they could cut that. They don't need that. Well, but why? Like, it helps move the scene along, you know. We get Spider-Man being bombarded by everybody. Happy and May broke up. Well, they were never really together. They just stopped doing it.
It was a fling. He thought it was a thing.
Yeah, which is usually how it works too. All right,
Yeah,
let's get into the Peter Parker.
So this whole thing it's based on the what's the comic called?
One More Day.
Yeah,
That's the one you're talking about, right?
Yeah, which anyone who had
go on.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's the one I was thinking about when I first saw the trailer was One More Day, and then I saw a bunch of people posting about it after the movie came out. So I was like, okay, so I was right. I haven't read that in a while, but I don't know how closely they go with it.
Yeah, not that closely, because in that comic, all right, so that takes place after Civil War in the comics, which Peter reveals his identity to comply with the new laws.
Yeah.
Because he's originally on Iron Man's side and then joins Captain America afterwards, where he's like, no, this is fucked up. We're beating up our friends and locking them in a jail, in a horrible alternate universe. The negative zone, for anyone who's curious.
I mean, it wasn't the park like the movie, man.
Yeah. And so because of that, one of his oldest villains, which is the Kingpin, which is someone we have seen in Daredevil, the Netflix show, which is still MCU, people. All the shows are canon.
Oh, they definitely prove it. They definitely prove it.
Oh, yeah, they do.
In 1 week, they definitely proved it.
Yes.
Let's say that.
And so he hires a hitman to take out Aunt May, which they do. And Peter is pissed. He goes ballistic, loses his mind, goes to Doctor Strange like, hey, can you do something about this? He's like, yeah, no, not really. Sorry.
Right.
And then he gets approached by Mephisto.
Which is why everyone thought
Mephisto was going to be in everything this past year.
Everything in 2021 was Mephisto. Yeah. Maybe it all was. Maybe we'll get a big reveal at the end of this phase that it's all Mephisto. It was Mephisto all along.
He's like, look, your aunt will be back alive, but I got to take something in exchange. And that's going to be your happiness, basically. You have one day with your wife, Mary Jane, and then everyone's going to forget about you. She will. All that history doesn't matter. The person writing the comic didn't want to write it. He was forced to by the person in charge of Spider-Man at the time.
So he was just basically like a big fuck you to them. Like, you know what? We're getting rid of everything.
He's gone on records. Nobody likes this story, by the way. Not the readers, anybody, the executives. Just this one person wanted it to happen because he wanted a clean slate where Spider-Man wasn't tied down in marriage. Right. That was a mistake that they corrected over the next 8 years and finally got them remarried.
Yeah. Which is kind of interesting that nobody in Marvel really cared for it, yet they stole some main points from that story for this movie.
They actually improved it in this one, I think, a bit. Again, we'll get to the problematic stuff later. And so that's where this comes from. And in this, I really like how in this movie, it's more of he can't separate stuff in his life. Like he's used to life or death stuff as Spider-Man. Yeah. And so he goes to the extremes to solve the stuff as Spider-Man. Well, now he's got a problem as Peter.
Right.
He's going to go to the extremes instead of just dealing with it how you should.
And I think because it's really cool that this movie and Hawkeye came out about the same time because
and there's no coincidence in that.
The Hawkeye deals with it in a different level of like, you know, he's supposed to be a nobody. He's not supposed to be seen. He was trained to not be seen.
Yeah,
and then he was
shield
seen,
infiltrator agent,
but he still is able to live like his double life in a way. But he's also not being, you know, in Hawkeye, if he was called out to be Ronin, then they would have the same situation where would he be hunted or not, even though he was killing nothing but bad people. So you have that issue there. But
we kind of see that problem with Hawkeye too, because I mean, how many times in these movies has he retired to spend time with his family?
Right. So he was supposedly retired in not
Civil War.
No, it wasn't Civil War. It was Age of Ultron. No,
it was Civil War.
No, it was Infinity War. That's what it was. Infinity War, because he was in Civil War.
He mentions that he came out of retirement to free Wanda from the complex or compound.
Yeah. Well, they also say in Infinity War that he wasn't there because he was with his family, and then Ant-Man was on house arrest and shit like that. So they like gave up.
Ant-Man was trapped in another dimension.
Not that time. At the end.
Well, sometime between then.
When the snap happens, that's when he gets trapped. Which is at the end. Anyways.
But I don't, I've heard this term thrown around, apocalypse fatigue, ever since Endgame. It's like every movie has been a world ending event. What do you think about that?
In terms of this movie or in terms of
any of them? Like Black Widow was kind of that. Shang-Chi was definitely that. Eternals
wasn't.
What's that?
Black Widow wasn't an end of the world thing. They were just really, but people. And they were like mind control. That wasn't an end of the world thing.
Worldwide catastrophes. It wasn't world ending, but
right. Well, Eternals is definitely a world ending thing.
Yeah, same with Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi, however you want to pronounce this version. Both are correct.
Shang-Chi is Sean. That would be world ending, but it wasn't on Avengers level threat at that time.
Look at it. It was like Cthulhu.
Yeah. But they were in a mystical world mystical place where no one else knew what was going on except for the people there. So no one else really knew. What do you think about? Would it have been a world threat though if the Avengers knew? If Thor came down and just was like, "Fuck you, I'm hitting you over the head with this hammer or no axe now."
That would actually be a hilarious ending,
right?
No, we're putting an end to this. But you see what I mean, though? Like a lot of these movies have been, the world is going to end.
Yeah.
And how do you think that's a major problem with these movies so far?
I definitely do, because of the way they've built the infrastructure within the MCU. All the MCU characters know each other.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, like I even had the issue with Hawkeye a little bit where it's like, okay, these things are happening, especially if it's a world threatening event. Why the fuck are the Eternals not trying to get more help when they know there are Avengers and other superhumans out there? Hulk would have been able to help the Eternals. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like, so when you have these world ending events, it's like, okay, well, why are you not reaching out to everybody if the entire world is literally in peril? Like, we need to work on that a little bit. So there is that issue. But in the comics, they've done the same thing where, you know, the X-Men are dealing with the end of the world at one time, and another group of people are dealing with the end of the world in just another continent or something. Like,
yeah,
there's always something like that. You can always put it up to like those things there, but within the way of how they've built the MCU up, it's like they know these people. Everyone knows who the Avengers are now. there's no reason that there shouldn't be a massive group of people helping fight these things. Especially with this movie with Spider-Man, like he knows all the Avengers, like Doctor Strange, like he literally goes to Doctor Strange to help him, but he knows like all these other ones to help fight would have been nice.
You like how he gets the idea from little witches with goatees?
Yeah.
That cracked me up.
But the one of the reveals that wasn't necessarily a massive reveal, but when I was in theaters, it made people go, fuck yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah, let's get into that.
When Daredevil, wrong D. When Daredevil shows up.
Specifically just Matt Murdock as his lawyer.
Yes. With the blood red glasses and everything.
Catches a brick because he's just a damn good lawyer.
Yeah. Well, you know this. He and Peter had his hand up at the exact same time to catch it too. So they were both on par with that. So that's something they've explored in the comics a lot. Their reactions are almost you know. Well, you got the Spidey sense versus the heightened senses, which you could say that's what
sonar
is. This isn't Ben Affleck Spider or Daredevil. He doesn't have sonar. At least they haven't explored that part yet.
He's got fire vision, if you remember.
So we have that reveal, which was kind of cool because I honestly just thought they were fucking with everybody for a lot of the reveals that they did in this movie. I didn't think they were going to happen because I just thought it was going to be hype build the movie up so to get butts in the seats and not actually. I didn't think this movie was going to deliver an entertaining film for me, honestly.
They don't really
I didn't have my hopes high for it. I was hopeful because I mean Spider-Man, the Tom Holland movies have been really fun. I like Toby. Andrew was great, but man, did they just screw him over. The scripts fucked him and the director fucked him.
I don't know if it was Mark Webb, but it was definitely Sony getting involved.
It was definitely Mark Webb. You have the fucking name Webb in your name and you fuck a Spider-Man movie up. How fucking you should.
I will say, man. I think he did the best that he could with what he was given.
Well, fuck them. And they didn't even use his name as a good marketing. What the fuck is wrong with them? I'm sorry. Sony, you're pieces of shit back then. You might still be, but still, like, I like your Venom movies, but okay. And they don't specify this, but it's kind of unspoken that he's dealing with this for months because it goes, like the summer is roughly when Far From Home ends and this big reveal, and then it's after Halloween going towards Christmas because there's a line in there where they're saying, take down the Halloween decorations, and we hear Christmas music playing, which we all know actually begins October 31st here in America. Because the Halloween decorations are what sparks him to go and see Doctor Strange in the first place. So it's October when this all is happening. So October. The timeline is
unspecified in a time.
Construed as for how long it takes for all this other stuff to play out. You would
I think it'd be safer to say the main plot begins sometime in November at the earliest.
Yeah, because we end the movie around Christmas time.
Yes, definitely around Christmas time.
So,
but the reason I ask about Apocalypse Fatigue is because while we did get Hawkeye, which is a very nice companion because that is a condensed, street level show that we have not seen since the Netflix shows ended.
Yeah.
I feel like even though this was, the world is ending type story, it felt smaller, like very personal.
was for Spider-Man or for Hawkeye?
Yes, for Spider-Man.
Okay. Can I say one thing I did find annoying in Hawkeye? Because
Sure.
you know it's Christmas time there,
Yeah.
and you know Spider-Man ends around Christmas time. Are they the same year?
Mhm.
So why the
Yeah.
fuck wasn't Spider-Man going to these big ass explosions to try and help? Spider-Man lives in New York. He should have fucking been there.
I mean, this is an issue with comics all the time.
Shootout took forever at the end of Hawkeye, bro. Like, don't get Spider-Man could have been there in 5 minutes from anywhere in New York City. Like,
No, this is again a bigger issue with just comics in general, but it's just
matter of fact, he swings by that same spot.
conveniently. Yes, he does.
He swing. I just thought about that. He fucking swings by it. I'm sorry.
It's just one of those convenient. I mean, we got that after Avengers. Like, that's just why didn't anyone go and help Thor with the fucking Dark Elves invading?
That happened super fast, and they were jumping through portals. So that explains Thor. Thor was very explainable because they say it takes place within like 20 minutes.
All right. What about the fact that Tony Stark's home literally gets bombed and no one goes to help him?
His home gets bombed. They think he's dead. He's declared dead. So who are they going to help? He didn't reach out. He should have reached out. Actually, when he got back in touch with Pepper should have reached out and been like, "Hey, Cap, Tony's alive. Can you fucking help him?" But everybody thought Tony was dead in the third Iron Man movie until the end. This is a true story, sir.
I know. I'm trying to think of another one, but the only other one I could think of is Guardians, which is in space. So
right. So they did a decent job of making it aware of why these things were able to happen in those two movies, at least. Winter Soldier would be another one I would say. That
one I can see because it's more Shield internal problems.
Yeah, but there's still attacks being happened on the streets and stuff. You think that would be on the news?
Yeah.
But as far as like the Shield stuff, yeah, I can understand why, Iron Man's not there or anything like that. Like, he was pissed on of them after the Avengers, so
he was pissed on.
He was pissed on. Yeah. He was pissed at them after Avengers, so that would explain that shit.
Yeah, I was just impressed with how, because it's like you see all of these big losses in all these other movies, Avengers, Age of Ultron, like countless people, nameless amounts of people die. This film has like one person die that we knew, and it is more impactful to not only the character, but us.
There's some issues too. Like, it's heartbreaking when you think about it. So towards the end, we'll go to that, or we'll discuss it after the movie, I guess. Repercussions from this movie, I should say.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of them. So they, all right. What is it? Doctor Strange performs his stupid spell. Stupid ass spell,
which
makes no fucking sense.
If you notice, he says, you've changed the spell 5 times. Peter only changed it 4.
No, he says you changed my spell 6 times, and Peter says 5.
5? Okay, well, it was one less, whatever, Strange. So that means Strange must have changed it himself at least once.
Yeah, people have speculated that Strange maybe made it so he wouldn't forget who he was.
Which I could believe.
I can understand that, especially given the ending. But the ending also isn't. It makes no sense.
We'll get into it.
He reacts that way, but okay. And he contains this spell in like a little glowy tube, kind of like from What If. If people watch What
exactly
If,
like What If.
Yeah, it's a little dome thing from What If that again, we said spoilers, so for everything Marvel. And it's like the What If thing, like where who was it? Killmonger and Zola Zola Ultron Vision hybrid thing got trapped because it's like Ultron and Vision's body, but Zola's controlling it. So I'm like, what? Anyway.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, they were trapped into that thing. So that's exactly what he trapped his spell into. Which, what was his plan to get rid of that spell before?
Well, he put it in that box thing with the reset button. And that was the whole plan.
Eventually. And that just deletes the spell, I think.
Yeah.
So weird that you need a button to get rid of a spell, but okay.
Hey, magic creates convenience. What's more convenient than a big red button to push? They did the same thing in Doctor Who. I'm not even joking. A box became a giant red button.
Oh, anyway, so we get the reveal that Doc Ock is there because Spider-Man's trying to get everybody back into college. Well, his friends.
Yeah, because
they're considered
accomplices in the murder of Mysterio.
Yeah. Or in public opinion, I should say. We should say in the court of public opinion, they are deemed bad.
And Matt Murdock even says that he got Speeder. He got Peter off.
Yeah, he did.
I'm laughing because I called him Speeder.
I'm laughing because you said he got Peter off.
I know. He was found not guilty of killing Mysterio, but he's like, there's still the court of public opinion, which is clearly not good because a brick comes through the window at that exact moment.
Yeah. And they have to go to a safe house, so they go to Happy's place.
Yeah.
Out there.
Which before we go on from this, Happy is in trouble because some Stark tech went missing.
Yeah.
I've heard some speculation. Do you think this is set up for Iron Wars and not just the make anything machine we see later in the movie? Or Armor Wars, whatever I called it.
I assumed it was just the machine.
I thought that too, but it makes a lot of sense if we're getting, Ironheart here next year.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I would assume it'll
be interesting to see if this comes back.
Yeah. If anything, I think by then we will be it will be a warehouse of shit that the government confiscated that Ironheart will find. Most likely.
You mean like the Disney warehouse?
Yeah.
As seen at the end of Indiana Jones.
So I think that's what it's going to end up being, is like a confiscated warehouse of Stark tech shit that she finds. And that's how she puts her suit together. Because, in the comics, she found an Iron Man AI suit.
Yeah.
And then
it's just interesting.
I hope to God they fucking put Tony back in there as an AI.
That would be awesome.
RDJ back in, they would be so cool. And I wonder if he's an AI, would he still remember?
I was going to bring that up once we got to the spell portion of all this. But yeah, I'm just curious if that'll come back around at some point or not, because it felt like a weird, it's a joke, like, oh, Happy's still in trouble, but also it's weird emphasis on it that I felt went beyond just the make anything machine we see later on.
I think it was the machine, because the machine has the arc reactor.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just the arc reactor too, because what happens to the arc reactor at the end of this movie?
That's
we don't fucking know, because it just falls into the wrong. We don't know where it goes, honestly. So,
going back to Doc Ock though,
what'd you think of that? Because I know he was in the trailer.
Yeah, dude, I had no thought in my mind this entire movie about how they de-aged him.
Yeah.
It was so well done.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I like that they Doc Ock. I like that character, and of course, for most people, Spider-Man 2, the original Spider-Man 2, is usually the best one that they say there is. So for not bringing in that Doc Ock, you'd be fucking stupid not to with the story that you're doing.
And it was a brilliant idea to have him be the first one you see as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Especially
even repeating his line.
Oh, the sun in the palm of my hand.
No, what did you do with my machine?
Oh yeah. Yeah, because I would have liked to see how these people appeared into this universe. That would have been interesting, but we don't really see that. Is it like Terminator style? So we get that reveal, and I love that the fact that they're like they make fun of how basic his equipment is, because Tony's equipment takes it over like instantly.
Yeah, which I saw some people having problems with that. It actually has precedent. If you go back, it was built on Oscorp technology, which is nano machines.
Yeah, it's all nanotech. Well, mostly nanotech. It's Oscorp specialized in nanotechnology, which would work with this stuff here, but also it's tech from a different universe, so also it can be taken over.
Yeah. Just the fact that he gets the Bluetooth enabled, like new paired device.
Yeah.
It's so dumb, but it works really well.
And it goes from like a very serious scene to like comedic almost instantly as soon as he's paired up. Mm-hmm. At first, I thought the nanotech were being picked up by Doc.
Yeah.
Doc by himself. I thought he was controlling the shit. But then when Peter took over, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then they went to humor. And then what is this? So this is the reveal, well, semi-reveal of Green Goblin. We see the bomb thrown, and then boom.
Yeah, from the trailers.
Peter's in fucking the dungeon now of the house. Doctor Strange's house, I should say. And then we see the lizard is in there already. So we didn't get to see him get captured. And it's the lizard from The Amazing Spider-Man, the first one.
Yep. The first one.
And they made him look almost exactly like the crappy CG, a little bit better.
Yeah, he was altered a bit.
Yeah.
I think for the betterment.
Right.
It's just a shame that the actor himself didn't appear in this movie at all.
Right. Yeah, they show him later, and it's just footage from
Amazing
movie.
Spider-Man recycled.
And you can really tell too. Like, I didn't know that story going in, and I was just like, when I watched it, I was like, these are literally the same shots and like almost the same lighting on him as before. So I was like, they just reuse that shit, which I mean, it makes sense on a financial way because Sony owns the shit. They can do whatever they want with it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're kind of like, well, kind of sucks for the actor.
Yeah.
Like,
just the villains in general. Like, we get to Electro. He gets his body back. He's not the dork from Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
And his electricity, because it's a different universe, the electricity is a bit different. It's now yellow instead of blue, which I think is just a way to gloss over the seizure problem they had with the first appearance of him. And yeah, it was a nice explanation, but also more importantly, it was great to see Flint Marko come back. He was my favorite part of Spider-Man 3.
I mean, he's the best part of Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, it's true.
Like he's the only character that actually had any levels in that movie to him.
Yeah.
Including Spider-Man. He didn't really have a whole lot of levels in that film, unfortunately. So,
danced
like a douchebag with his emo haircut. I thought his back hurt. Why was he dancing so much? It was back fucking hurt. What's wrong, Toby? You can
From
dance.
years of swinging.
Spider-Man? No, like in real life.
Oh yeah, I know. He was, he was almost replaced with, don't you?
Who?
I could be wrong, but I heard the name Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh God, no, that would have been bad because Jake Gyllenhaal was like Pretty Boy then.
Yeah.
That would have been bad.
Yeah.
That would have been bad. Oh, thank God that didn't happen.
There's a lot of jokes in this. Sticking with the villains for now, though, I love how they've got redemption arcs for all of them. And we even like, immediately after the bridge scene, the next time we see Goblin, he's breaking that stupid fucking mask. Because why would you ever put William Dafoe in a mask? Right.
And especially because in the original Spider-Man movie from, was it 99? I want to say, he did.
Yeah, around there.
He was in the suit the whole time because he didn't trust a stuntman to do the mannerisms and shit right for him.
He did his stunts in this one too, as much as he was able to.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying like every scene almost every scene that you see Green Goblin in the first one, it's actually Willem Dafoe in there. Mm-hmm. And because he wanted to make sure the mannerisms and everything were done properly. So he's a great fucking actor, dude. Like, why would you cover up that face too, especially when he's got that face already? Not expression detriment to him. I don't want people to think I'm saying he's ugly or some shit, but like he's got the facial features to play off crazy, bro. And this
movie was full of so much facial acting. It's the performances were amazing, like phenomenal all around.
Yeah, it's one of those films. I really just want them to drop it on Blu-ray already, so I can.
I know. I got the Steelbook image behind me. I don't know if this one's going up as video or not, but I love this artwork.
Yeah, I fucking hell. The acting in this movie is phenomenal because all the people that they have on screen acting are great actors in general. There's only a few parts where I'm just like, really, guys, that you went with that, but okay. The relationship too that you see on screen with Peter and MJ is awesome, and we forgot, and this is the first time we see that MJ's last name is Watson. In this universe.
Yep.
So it's just a different because she's still Michelle Jones, right? Michelle Jones.
Yeah,
Watson.
Jones Watson.
Yeah. So
I don't know if that's her middle name or her last name's hyphenated. They don't really.
I think it's just Michelle Jones.
Yeah, because she says, I don't want to be known as Watson, which we kind of got a hint of that in the Toby movies, but her dad is an asshole.
Yeah. So maybe.
So I kind of think they're hinting at that in this one too.
Yeah. That would be a very.
Yeah.
We'll see. We might never see these people again.
I highly doubt that, but maybe not for a while. And Ned gets magic in this, which is hinting to his hobgoblin persona in the comics.
Yeah, I really thought he was going to be the Goblin in this movie, bro.
Yeah,
I really thought so, because they didn't. You see the Goblin's bombs and stuff in the trailer, and again, I only watched one trailer, and I don't even think I heard Willem Dafoe's laugh in the trailer that I watched.
Yeah, it was so briefly at the very end, like subtly.
Yeah, so I was like, I wonder if they're just gonna make him, the Goblin.
And everyone was wondering about that second Goblin we saw, which just turned out to be William Dafoe. But in a more comic accurate costume with the purple and green and
with the cape look or the hood and everything. Yeah.
Yes.
I like that.
Oh, and the fight scene with him and Peter. Holy shit. When he takes him to Suplex City.
Yeah.
We're going to repeat it like Suicide Squad through the floor.
Dude. And it shows you that scene in the apartment shows you how much strength the Goblin actually has, because he's taking the same hits as Parker is or Spider-Man.
Victoria turned to me and she's like, I didn't realize he was that strong. I'm like, oh yeah. In the first one, he gets that serum that increases his strength.
Yeah.
And just the big reveal with Aunt May that this is the origin, like all three of these movies were the origin story we didn't get to begin with, and how it comes full circle from him being Tony Stark Jr. to being the Spider-Man people wanted him to be this entire time.
Yeah.
It's just,
it was,
I know this wasn't the plan from the start, but holy shit, did they pull off this amazing arc
for Spider-Man. So
yeah.
you call it an amazing Spider-Man?
I might.
No. Yeah. The whole, Aunt May delivering the line of, my dog is going crazy. Sorry. Delivering the whole line of with great power comes great responsibility,
which is a death sentence.
Always a death sentence. As soon as she got hit though, so
I instantly knew. I'm like, they didn't show it, but I'm like, he has those spikes on it from the first movie. That's how he dies. I'm like, she got hit with those.
The spikes don't hit her though.
I think they did.
I think they broke her spine is what happened.
Would she be able to stand up? Because she was fine on adrenaline until it wore off. She was bleeding. I think that's from the stab wound.
I'm not sure. Maybe.
I think Disney's just too afraid to show that, like unlike Sony.
Well, they did show blood.
Yeah, they did show the blood, but not the impale.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't know what this means, if there was an Uncle Ben or not in this universe.
I don't think so, because
no.
we never hear a mention of Uncle Ben.
No, not at all.
I feel that she was supposed to be single or some shit.
Yeah.
For it. My dog is going crazy town right now.
Hey, it happens. We live with other things. It happens. Yeah. I didn't even finish my freaking thought on the villains, the fact that they all got redemption arc. Like, there's just so much to enjoy about this. Like, they took
you get your first one with Doc Ock being reprogrammed, I guess. The chip get fixed for him.
Which I guess I will admit isn't as impactful as in the end of Spider-Man 2, where Peter's like, you're a good person. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Now, see, we'll get to that because I have my own headcanon for all this stuff now.
No, all right. All right.
Go on.
Electro being told, you're not a loser, man. Like, you're an awesome guy.
I love Electro as because this is at the end. That's at the very end.
Yeah,
where he's being told that. But Electro's like, man, you were from the Bronx and from this, and you were saving people and helping people. I was like, I thought you were black. It's like, nice.
Clear alluding to Miles.
Oh yeah, and I'm wondering if we'll get Miles in the MCU soon or not.
We know he exists.
Does Sony have his film rights for live action?
They have everything to do with Spider-Man. So
okay. Except for clearly Kingpin, because Marvel used Kingpin without Sony.
Yeah, it might be one of those shared things, like how Quicksilver and Wanda were.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, because he may have started off as Spider-Man, but he is head-to-head with Daredevil a lot, especially when he becomes head of the Hand.
Who's that?
Kingpin.
Oh yeah.
And Flint Marko, he's just a regular dude again. He can go and be with his daughter.
Yeah. And
actually, hold her and stuff. Like, that scene's still heartbreaking in the first one with the ring and stuff.
Mm-hmm. where you can't. You jumped all the way to the end, by the way.
I'm just covering the villains, man.
Okay.
The Lizard doesn't really have an arc. He's just the Lizard again.
Which he turned human in his movie too again. So
yeah, they even literally say that. I've already done it once. I could do it again.
Yeah. They really don't do a whole lot with him. Electro gets his like nice little moment. He doesn't need his glasses though anymore, because before he had glasses in the other movie.
Well, his entire body's different.
Yeah. So
and I love when he gets a hold of the arc reactor, because it's a new element. Like, this didn't exist in his. He's like, this thing is awesome.
Yeah. Well, and that's also the arc reactor that the element that Tony found in Iron Man 2. So it's 100% new to almost everybody.
Yeah.
And he really dug the power being pulled from that, because it's unlimited power too, as far as I remember. Obviously,
the two front runners for main villains are Doc Ock, but Green Goblin. Like, we see the fight within Norman Osborn's head as he tries to combat the insanity.
Yeah.
And he plays it off so well. Like, he changes his pitch on a dime when you could tell when he switches between personas.
Yeah. Which is nice, because he gets that like grittier voice.
Yeah.
For the Goblin. But it was nice to see him be himself, because we never really got to see Osborn be Osborn and do the science stuff and all that shit without really being corrupt in the first movie. Because the first movie, you got to see him. He met Harry for a little, or not Harry. He met Peter for a minute in the first movie. And then he's in his lab and he's doing these experiments because people are pissing him off, and he just wants to get it tested now.
Yeah.
So he does it himself. And then in the Amazing Spider-Man, we don't ever see Osborn because he's dead. He dies.
Well, we see him as an old man on his deathbed.
Yeah. So
and then Harry takes over and kills Gwen, which yeah. I'm so glad they didn't bring that Goblin into this. We kind of see a little bit of the struggle at the end of Toby's movie, where they kind of play it off as a fake out. But now with this new context, it kind of adds to that scene even more. Like, yeah, I don't know how else to say that.
No, you got it.
And we haven't even gotten into, I've been kind of holding off, but Toby and Andrew showing up in this movie, like they just stepped back into their roles.
The theater, bro, was crazy when Andrew showed up.
I knew instantly it wasn't Tom.
Crazy. Even more when Toby showed up. I was like, oh shit. And I was one of those people. I know you kept saying they were going to be in the movie. You kept saying it.
I said probably, but as time went on and we saw no images or any leaks or anything, I'm like, well, shit, maybe they're not.
And they were both really good at saying, fuck off. We're not in this movie. No, we're not in this
Mostly
movie.
Andrew.
Yeah. But
because he had other movies this year, so he had interviews.
And the paparazzi were going at Toby too a few times, but it's like,
it's a dangerous game to play with him. I literally
thought they were just using the villains from these other movies to trick people into thinking that these two guys were going to show up. When they showed up, I was happy as fuck, dude. And Andrew's performance, oh my God, I wanted to cry for him, bro. Like, I really felt that this third Holland movie was like a redemption for all the Spider-Man shit for their thirds, because Toby's third one got so much shit for it because it sucked so bad to a lot of people. I'm sure there are people out there that like it. And Andrew didn't
I
even,
enjoy it, but there's no denying it's not good.
right. And Andrew didn't even get a third one. And
Yeah.
I felt it's also redeeming for Tom Holland's Spider-Man because you're finally getting that Spider-Man arc. We see he lost his Aunt May instead of Uncle Ben. Some people wanted to say, well, Tony was his Uncle Ben. I'm like, no, it's not the same impact.
Yeah.
It's not the same as that. And Tony didn't say with great power comes great responsibility. Tony didn't do all these. He saved the entire universe.
Uncle Ben dies because of an action that he chose to do. Aunt May dies because of an action he chose to do. Yeah. Tony didn't die because of an action he chose to do. He dies because Tony's Tony.
In this movie, though, the action that he chose to do was also brought on by her.
Yeah. Well, no, because she didn't tell him to go do the spell.
Yeah, that's true. The spell was not her thing, but trying to redeem these people to save these villains was her whatever. It was her doing. She said, no, you need to do this instead of like she implanted it in his mind and she encouraged him and she helped him and all that stuff. So in a way, yes, he is responsible for the death, period. But she is also responsible for making sure he knew what was right, whether or not what was right would make issues or problems later on. Which, I mean, you got to think about in the long term of life. Sometimes we got to do things that may not give us the best outcome later, but they are better for humanity or better for ourselves or things like that. So,
the way they go about some of this stuff, like they reference like real world things, like the fact that Tobey's Spider-Man has a bad back from not only that time he fell in the car, but the actual Tobey Maguire's problem. When Andrew Garfield first shows up, MJ throws bread at him, which is, I didn't know this at the time, but I read the story afterwards. It was Amy Pascal, the president of Sony Pictures, went to Kevin Feige and is like, what do we do to make the third Amazing Spider-Man hit? Like, we're clearly got a problem. What do we do to fix this? And he said, let me do it. And she threw a sandwich at him. So it's kind of funny that he's not only referencing that stuff, but he is fixing all of Sony's problems with those movies all in one go. This movie is a miracle.
This movie really should never have worked.
No.
And the fact that, they finally ended up having him basically do, I mean, it's still Tom Holland's Spider-Man movie, but it's also the other guys' movie as well. Towards the end, like
it's the end of a trilogy. It corrects two other franchises and somehow does a team up that everyone was calling for, but was worried would be screwed up because Sony.
Or never would happen ever.
How many times did Sony have to tell us it was their movie in this fucking opening and end credits?
Oh yeah. yeah. They were like, nope. Sony's name is on all of this, sir. It's crazy. Like the redeeming factors for the meta stuff and the movie stuff, it like movie world and everything, it's just so great. And I think that's what makes this film really cool. I'm not saying that there's not shit wrong with it. I get that, people.
We'll get to that.
But for the nostalgia factor, for the redeeming of the characters, for the redeeming of the actors themselves, even because there's even a spot in there where Andrew and Tobey are talking. I want to say Peter.
The banter is great.
Banter is great, but there's one spot in there where like Andrew is just like, you guys are so much better than me and all this and that, and Tobey's like, no, dude, you're amazing. Like reiterating, because like everybody did like Andrew, as a majority of people liked Andrew.
Majority of people who have good taste.
Yeah, we liked him as Spider-Man. He just got screwed over. So it's like, no, dude, you are amazing. Like we got to reiterate that sometimes to these actors too. And it's kind of nice that it's Toby, the first Spider-Man, saying it to Andrew, who felt like he got the shit end of the deal and stuff, even though he really loved Spider-Man, which is really cool to see that. And then I like the scene where all three of them are together and
comparing notes of what they've done.
Like what's the craziest thing? Well, I fought an alien of black goo alien. and then Tom's like, I fought an alien in space and on Earth. A purple alien in space and on Earth.
I fought a guy in a rhino robot costume. Yeah. I want to fight an alien.
And then Toby's delivery on this, he's like, wait. I want to go back to you fighting in space. It was funny as hell. And another one was when they're making their cures for these guys in the lab. They did the gag, the three Spider-Man gag where they're
Peter. Oh yeah.
They do the pointing gag that is like all over the internet. If you've ever seen like the three Spider-Men like pointing at each other and shit, like they even included it in what was that movie? Into the Spider-Verse at that very end with Spider-Man 2099 showing up in the little image too, pointing. But they did that with this one, and it was really funny because
who knew that was actually a tease to the second Into the Spider-Verse, but
yeah. But I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that, like in the spider costumes, but they didn't do it. But they did it in the lab, which was kind of cool.
Yeah,
the reveal. Where's Toby's webs come from? And then they make a discussion about it later. Not only like
even when they move away from the discussion onto another topic, Andrew Garfield is still staring at Toby's wrists and just like, the fuck.
Yeah. And they when they're setting up their traps and stuff at the Empire State Building,
the new and improved Statue of Liberty, according to Hawkeye,
with the
Cap Shield,
which I'm assuming by Hawkeye it's finished because even Elena in Hawkeye,
they had to put it back up.
Yeah, she says that she wants to go and see the new Statue of Liberty,
which I don't want to go on too much of a tangent because I do want to hear where you're going. But do you think instead of giving those, reparations and money to refugees that was supposed to happen in Falcon and Winter Soldier, they're just like, hey, new statue, because that's how our government works?
Oh, probably. Most likely. Yeah. What are you talking about? 75% of the budget that they say is for COVID vaccines are probably going to make us a new Statue of Liberty right now.
That's moving away from our actual government.
Black budget. You got that black budget. They know what they're doing with that money. They just don't want us to know.
Where were you going with this? The organic web shooter?
Yeah, so when they're back on the Statue of Liberty, they end up bringing up the shooters again, and they're like, does it come out of anywhere else? Like how do you make it? Like, do you think about it? He's like, I don't really think about it. It just happens. It's like, I don't think about breathing. and then I think it was Holland. He's like, well, does it come out of anywhere else? Like, or is it just your wrist? They should have been like, well, I guess you have to ask MJ.
Everyone immediately jumps to that, and I'm thinking like actual spider coming out of his ass. I loved the scenes where it's just Toby and Andrew talking as well. Like when they first meet, they did the whips at each other with the web. It's like, oh, you guys have dealt with clones before or something. And then later on, where Andrew offers to crack Toby's back.
Yeah, dude, there's so many scenes though where Andrew, his delivery made me feel his emotion. Like, so when they first arrived to meet our Peter Parker, Holland is on top of the school building, I want to say it is.
Not sure
And
what building that is.
I think it's a school building because it's later or beforehand. That's where they were when they went up there. And Ned gets up there, so it has to be a building he could get into. So, they go.
I like
up
how they point out they all have brooding buildings.
Yeah, and Toby's like, I watched my Uncle Ben die, and when Andrew does Andrew lost Uncle Ben too, but his big hit was
Gwen.
And his face, dude, I feel so bad for him. Like it made me feel hard.
Dude, later in the movie when he catches MJ falling in a similar fashion,
bro, I teared up. I was so happy and sad for him at the same time, especially when you see his face. If
you know, the fact that he curls his body to do a bigger jump instead of relying on his web.
Yeah. It was the time where he didn't rely on the web and relied on catching her.
Yeah.
Because
Zendaya's reply, are you okay? Because you can just see the pain and stuff. And
and only people that have watched those movies too are going to really understand it a whole lot.
I was going to mention that later towards the end, but I think that's one of the deterrents for this one for being one of the all-time best is a lot of the emotional weight from it relies on you having seen and remembered those movies. Yeah. Unfortunately for my wife, she only remembers bits of them.
Yeah, it was we watch them all the time, all the other 5, I should say. 6 if we include Spider-Verse. But we've watched them a bunch, so I knew it, my kids knew them and stuff like that, which was nice.
Yeah,
but it's just still for people that haven't seen those, especially we're 20 some years removed from the first movie.
Yeah.
And for the younger people that their parents may never have gotten them into those movies, or they never watched those movies.
Shame on you.
Which
you're a bad parent.
It would be. I find that it would kind of suck going into the movie and watching it, but maybe watching this movie will make them go back and watch those other ones too.
Yeah.
So you find new fans and new movies based on doing something like this too.
I love the hints that we got to what happened to those other 2 Spider-Men in there. You see Andrew show up in his costume, which they don't talk about, but actually with him, they specifically say, he put himself more into the Spider-Man world than anything else. He's no longer pulling his punches. He's frankly getting mean and bitter. Which
I kind of want to see that version of Spider-Man. Like he said, he did do that, and it took him a while to get back out of that.
Yeah.
He did say that. But I kind of am interested to see that version of a Spider-Man where it's he doesn't hold back. Because if Spider-Man punches you, especially if he's just getting a street thug or something, they're dead. They're just
and that's true in every there's a really good run of Spider-Man in the comics where Doc Ock takes over Peter's body.
Yeah.
And it's called Superior Spider-Man. And he's he goes to stop his first bad guy, and he breaks the dude in half. He's like, "Oh, I am much stronger than I thought he ever would be."
Yeah. It's one of those things. I kind of want to see that, but I also at the same time I'd rather not see that, because what kids are going to want to watch it? Parents aren't going to want to watch their kids watch their hero beating the fuck out of people, So I'm kind of glad they didn't do that. You hint towards what this Peter Parker has been through, and that he's really not Peter Parker because of the path that he chose to go down to for the longest time and everything. So, and I'm curious if their Aunt Mays are still alive or not.
I have a feeling Toby's isn't, but then again, maybe not. The actress is still, around and acting, and I'm a bit sad she didn't have a cameo in this, really. But speaking of Toby, when he first appears, he's the dopey ass character we remember from him. And the fact his goes a little less spoken, but the fact that he's in normal street clothes, I got the feeling that he's leaning more into the Peter version of his life rather than the Spider-Man. He talks about how him and MJ are still struggling to make it work, which is repercussions of what Venom, the actions he took while being possessed by Venom.
Right.
Your dog has something to say about that one. And it's just interesting that you get these two aspects. One who has decided to go basically more Spider, the other one who went more Peter. And then you got Tom, who's trying to balance them in the middle, struggling.
Yeah. He wants to live both lives, but can't do it. And they're showing you, look, it is hard. Like, that was a nice one, especially with seeing the older Toby. So with the villains, we're led to believe these villains are all plucked out of their realities at that time that we last saw them, basically.
Yeah, shortly before they would have perished.
Right.
Except for Flint.
Yeah, Flint. Yeah, you don't see when he was supposedly plucked out of his universe.
And the lizard, because he didn't die either.
Right. But so we get those guys plucked out at that time. It appears that these Spider-Men were plucked out in the future time too. So I'm wondering, because a lot of these guys were plucked right before their death, were these Spider-Men about to die too?
I don't know about that. I think it was just convenience for their age, which
I
think only added to, the time lapse from when we last saw them as well. Like the fact that they didn't de-age the Spider-Man, but they did the villains. That was great choice.
Most of the villains were dead anyways. But to not de-age the Spider-Man, we get to see, oh, hey, they're still alive. They're still doing this stuff. They're still Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Possibly a Spider-Man that we might see in movies later, Who knows?
I love the three of them trying to figure out how to work together, and Tom being like, you guys have never worked on a team before, have you?
Yeah. It's like, don't worry. I don't want to brag.
I'm a member of the Avengers.
Yeah.
Awesome. What's that? Is that a band?
Yeah. Dude, are you in a band? Like,
in the middle of a fight like that. Oh, that's Andrew again. How well he played Spider-Man. The quips immediately as soon as hey, God, what the fuck's Electro's name? It's like, hey, long time no see. Marvin.
Marvin, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, just perfect all around. And the three of them swinging through, like when they finally start working together, like was it, I forget which one. I think it was Tom went further ahead, then the two of them shoot their webs at him and he uses his momentum to pull them forward.
Yeah.
Just
Max. It's Max.
Max, that's it. I know it started with an M.
Yeah, the whole fight scene at the end was fun to watch. Their clips, their fighting styles were almost matched, about the same. And you even got these parts where it's like they're all Spider-Man, so they're all kind of doing the same thing, but at the same time, like the one Spider-Man gets clotheslined by the other Spider-Man swinging across so fast with his web. Actually, I think it was two of them got clotheslined by Holland's Spider-Man.
Yeah, they were really uncoordinated there.
Yeah. And then once they get coordinated and start working as a team and everything like that, then we get some stuff going. I'm curious, because they say Spider-Man 1 was Holland, Spider-Man 2 was Toby, and Spider-Man 3 was Andrew. I wonder, this could be many different things. Is that the order of best Spider-Mans that Marvel is trying to tell us?
In terms of grossing and popular rating on Rotten Tomatoes, yeah.
Okay.
That was a blanket statement.
What if it's also Holland's Spider-Man 1 was the better Spider-Man out of the other two, anyways. Toby's Spider-Man 2 was the best.
And 3 never got made.
3 never got made.
That's also like all of those things fit. I kind of would have liked the numbers to be reversed, but I do like how well it works.
Yeah.
Andrew being 2 and Toby 3, because, Toby had 3 movies and Andrew only had 2.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it just showed.
Also, he was the second one to appear in the film. So
it should just went in order. Toby 1, Andrew 2, Garfield or Holland 3.
You gotta make the home field advantage 1.
No.
That's how they do it in The Flash. He arrogantly calls his Earth 1.
Yeah. So I'm going to be all confused now moving forward as to what Earth is 616, because we're told the MCU universe is 616.
No, that was that was an executive who didn't know any better.
Okay.
They come out and said, "Don't listen to this idiot."
So 616 doesn't even exist yet anymore.
That one is just the comic main universe.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, because this is supposed to be a whole different thing, and the comics can be the same in the same multiverse as well.
Marvel likes to hire people who aren't into the comics for the non-creating comics roles, like the editors and the executives and stuff, because they feel like they have a wider view on they won't be blinded by fanboyism.
Right.
So this was just someone who didn't know any better making random remarks on stuff he's picked up.
Okay. He probably Googled Marvel main universe. All right. So this whole fight scene goes on. We play it out. It's fucking awesome. I love seeing all 3 of these guys together. And really just love seeing the other 2 back and doing stuff. It really gave me hope that we might possibly see them in the future in their own movies if
I'm
Sony
sad.
decides to do it. Because they totally can now.
They were originally going to have a couple of credit scenes different than what we had. One for each Toby and one for Andrew, and they didn't film it.
Oh, that would have been nice.
I would have loved to have
in their
seen
own
that.
universe. Like Toby going back with Kirsten Dunst, and then
Andrew going back to nobody.
Going to nobody. Or
but
like
taking some of their lessons they've learned.
Well, maybe he finally finds his MJ, because he doesn't have, because we've only saw him with Gwen, and maybe now that he's seen this stuff, and maybe he'll open up again. I'm
so glad they didn't ruin the Andrew Garfield moment when he's talking about Gwen's death with Toby going, "I knew a Gwen." Yeah. Yeah. That probably would have happened under Sony's watch. Oh yeah. So end fight scene, everybody's cured basically. Except for Goblin, and Electro gets his shit cured by Doc Ock. He like shows up. Doc comes to help. Everybody forgot. Oh shit. Yeah, he was cured. That's right. Like he's not a bad guy. He's just misguided. Yeah. Well, he was cured though in the apartment. So I know, but I meant just in general, like the demon in him or whatever. Whereas Electro was like, no, this power feels amazing. I don't want to give it up. Yeah. Doc Ock was more like, I can understand that. I can finally think straight. Yeah.
We see a lot more of Ned using his portal powers, and he can't close the portals, but he can open them.
Yeah.
Um,
Man, I really wish they would have kept going trying to find more Peters.
right. Peter Porker. Oh, if we would have gotten like a Roger Rabbit animated Spider-Man Peter Porker in this, that would have been awesome. At least for like 2
I think
seconds.
it would have been too far.
2 seconds, like open the portal and then you see
If
him
they
looking and then he takes off.
If they filmed that as an alternate joke take and they like complete it as an extra for the DVD release, I would love that.
Yeah. Okay. So all the people are cured except for Green Goblin. He shows up.
Yes.
The
lizard goes through the portal after Ned, which then we get a scene similar to when they fought in the library in his film.
Yeah. I know that looks familiar. Yeah. Okay.
No Stan Lee this time, though, sadly.
But once they're all cured, Green Goblin's there. And I didn't see a Stan Lee tribute.
I was just thinking that too. I must have missed it.
I wonder where it's at.
I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for that.
Damn. So Green Goblin's there. They start fighting. And this is where, Peter's like, fuck it. I'm going to kill this dude.
Oh,
they are Peter. Holland.
Yeah.
Holland Peter.
They're all Peter. I love that joke. Peter, what?
He's just like beating the shit out of him. And he literally even tells him, no, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Like, we're not playing around. I'm going to kill you. And you can see.
I love that Toby is the one that stops him because it's exactly what he was going to do at the end of his, like, he was pissed and beating the shit out of him. Like, he probably would have beat Goblin to death if Goblin hadn't set the glider into his own chest.
Yeah. And as soon as he grabbed it from Peter, because Holland was about to slam the glider into Green Goblin.
Yep.
And you get Toby to stop him, and
just
so much emotion just in the eyes. It was perfect. And I knew what was going to happen as he was sitting there. And I was just like, they're not going to fucking. And he gets stabbed. And I about shit myself. I'm like almost tearing up right now because I thought they killed Toby Spider-Man right then and there. I was like, no fucking way did they do that. How many people are going to be rioting right now if they fucking did that?
Yeah.
Oh shit. But so Garfield ends up tossing the potion or cure, whatever, and then he slams it into his neck really hard. Holland does.
Ow, first off, ow.
Second off, it looked like he slammed it really hard. That should have like just bust through his fucking body. But I guess
he was enhanced.
Goblin. Yeah, he's got the goblin stuff.
If he wasn't enhanced, that would have killed him.
Oh yeah, he would have fucking busted his collarbone and everything.
And then you get the William Dafoe. What did I do?
Yeah, and I love that because they let you know earlier in this movie that the Goblin takes over and he doesn't know what's happening.
Yeah,
which I don't know if they hinted towards that in the first one. I forget. In the first,
very vaguely. That's why I said this one adds so much more context to that.
Yeah,
especially at the end. Don't tell Harry.
Right. Yeah. Which also all right, let's play this out and then we'll go to that because there's something about a Goblin too. So Spider-Mans are all there, and Dr. Shrews came back too,
leaning on Andrew. He's like, "You all right?"
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it happens a lot.
I've been stabbed before.
It hurts. Or you're in pain, aren't you? Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's when Holland says goodbye to them for the last time. I did like the reaction to Doctor Strange when he first saw all three of them fighting.
Why aren't you here to help him?
Yeah.
Which
and we know one of them at least has a Doctor Strange in their universe.
Yeah, one of them mentioned, I think it's Andrew, talks about magic is real here too.
Okay, so then maybe both of them, because in Spider-Man 2, they mentioned Doctor Strange's name.
Yeah, which, he could just be an established surgeon for all we know.
Tivis?
Yes.
Don't take this away from fans.
Fans should know better with dealing with multiverse. We got Loki.
I wonder if that's that Sam Raimi wanted to do Doctor Strange, because he's doing the new Multiverse of Madness. Sam Raimi is. And he also is the one who tossed in Doctor Strange's name into that Spider-Man movie. So I'm wondering if he just is a big fan of Doctor Strange.
I could see it.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So anyways.
We haven't talked about Strange at all this movie, or this discussion yet. A lot of people
really in the movie.
A lot of people are saying that Strange was acting strange in this film.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think so.
I think he was acting different compared to his movie. But if we remember seeing him in Infinity War, this is kind of how he acted in Infinity War.
I was going to say that, like, when he's being all,
cozy and cocky.
Well, not that, but like, I'm trying to think of the right word, where he's like facing down Dormammu and stuff. He's a cocky asshole.
Yeah.
And he gets away with it. He wins because of that. And like the whole fact that he's protecting the stone from Thanos and stuff, it's not because that's his duty. It's because he wants to feel important. And we're really seeing the side effect of him not having the stone, not him not being Sorcerer Supreme. He's just lost. So he's like, oh, I can help this kid.
Yeah. And
he overdoes it because he wants to feel important.
I do think, though, too, him dipping on Holland and making him go out and do all this shit by himself, and then brings in two other kids, high schoolers, to help him. I'm like, what? So there are parts where I'm kind of like, I don't believe Strange would do that. But then there are other things where I'm like, okay, I get that Strange did that. At the end here, when Strange does his last thing and he like runs a tear down his eye or some shit, and he's sad that he'll forget who Peter Parker is.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. Because he was going to forget him anyways. But in the first spell, he didn't give a fuck.
Which is why I think that
he might have
alteration, yeah.
But also, nothing in this movie shows me the growth of Doctor Strange's character to where he would have that much emotion over Peter, unless he saw that, Peter, okay, he actually did good. He changed these people. He helped these people. We need him on our side.
Yeah, because he comes in and they're like, look, it's working. He's like, it is? Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there's many different levels to that aspect of, is Doctor Strange different? Everybody just wants to say it's Mephisto. That's all they fucking want, dude. Come on.
If it's anyone, it's Strange Supreme.
Which is it's not. Oh shit. I just had a fucking idea. Oh, we'll get into that after we're done talking about this.
All right. I love the fact how he Spider-Man ends up stopping Strange though with the geometry in the mirror world or mirror dimension. Yeah. Which, holy shit, I did not realize I missed the mirror dimension until we saw it in this film.
Yeah.
It's such a cool Inception effect. Like,
he's trapped him in there too.
Yeah, he did. He's like, I was over the Grand Canyon for 12 hours. Where have you been? You could have been helping us.
Which sets up that this movie only took place within a day or two.
Yeah.
So,
and the whole shit, what was I saying? Yeah, Wong being Sorcerer Supreme, that explains why he's in the Shang-Chi movie.
yeah, at the end of Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi. Yeah. That helps a lot more to understand
Context,
that. Yeah.
If you noticed in the background where Wong disappeared to, it's that training ground where Strange went to when he went to learn magic to begin with.
Yeah.
So it was nice seeing that again too.
And the one background he came from was the house where that was just another part of the house they're in. He teleported from that house into the house.
It could be another one of the sanctuaries.
Oh, it was the same damn house that Strange got his cape in, which was the house that he's in, isn't it?
I think it's alluded to in the Doctor Strange movie that they're all like similar design.
I'll accept that for now. Okay.
Sanctorums, that's what they are.
Yeah. But they did fake us out because in the trailer, Wong used a line that's not in this movie.
No, but is reused in the Doctor Strange movie trailer that follows.
Right. So that wasn't in this. He just said leave him out of it. And oh shit, dude, there's so much that I could like deep dive onto that's not even in the movie. It's in my head right now, talking about it. But so at the end of the movie, the world is basically collapsing. The universes are collapsing into each other. Because everybody, what happened? Oh, Green Goblin blew up the spell. So
yeah, he put a bomb in the box somehow.
Yeah, and it got released. So now the whole universe is fracturing. And you see shadows of like Rhino in the Rhino suit.
Raven the Hunter's there.
Raven the Hunter. You see all these different Spider-Man.
I was asking you last night if you think that monorail is in there.
Which I don't think it would be.
I just think it'd be funny if you just see a giant train image.
It seemed that a lot of these were just villains, which is interesting. Yeah. Because it would have been nice to have seen like a Mary Jane in the clouds or,
I'm very curious to Scorpion was apparently in there too. Yes. A lot of these are real vaguely shaped. So I can't wait for the home release where I could just frame by frame pause it and go through.
Yeah. But a lot of them were like his main villains that we all know from comics and cartoon or whatever.
I think there was another image of a Doc Ock. Yeah.
He was the other Goblin coming in.
Yeah. God. Where was Topher Max Venom? No. Nobody wanted to see.
No. So that's fracturing. Doctor Strange gets it somewhat, tries to get it put back together. I wonder if everyone
struggling hard.
Can everybody see what's going on in the world? Because if so, I'm assuming they all just forget about it.
Yeah. Well, even if they don't, I mean, they just like a year before saw a giant celestial head in the sky.
Yeah.
So they're probably just used to this shit by now.
Well, there should be so many cults for like Doomsday and shit like that right now.
Thanos was right.
Yeah. You keep seeing that too. There has to be a group that forms for that, dude. There's got to be.
Oh,
yeah. And basically to close up this fracture in the universe, the only way to do it is for everyone to forget who Peter Parker is.
Release the original spell.
And well, this is just casting a new spell.
Well, to do the original spell that was intended.
Yeah. So everybody.
This is where the movie falls apart.
Everybody in the universe I guess. Is it the universe? They don't really explain.
Everyone.
Everyone forgets who Peter Parker is. There's lots of issues with this, and lots of issues.
Does it erase
everywhere?
his school record? Because we do see him with a GED book at the end, so his scholarship to MIT is probably gone.
Well, he says goodbye to Mary Jane MJ. Sorry, not Mary Jane. Michelle Jones Watson. And then says goodbye to Ned, and then he says his goodbyes to the 3 Spider-Men, or the other 2 Spider-Men, and everything like that. All the villains disappear. Everyone goes about their day. Blah blah blah. We're good. Spider-Man guys, they give the peace sign to each other, and they disappear. And then that's it. We'll get to the end as we get to the end. This spell is complete bullshit and shouldn't work because, as you said, does it erase Peter Parker? My question is, does it erase Peter Parker from every universe? Are those 2 Spider-Men going back to their universe and being forgotten about? Like, fuck off. Like, what does this spell do? Because it's clearly making every villain that's coming to their universe, forget who Peter Parker is.
Yeah.
In their universes, even. So that would mean they don't know who these other Peter Parkers are, too.
That's really gonna strain the already strained relationship between Toby and MJ.
Right? Like, everyone's just gonna forget who Peter Parker is in the entire multiverse, basically.
And the way this is explained in the comic itself is it's just like it's a blank. You're drawing a blank. You know, what happens to me constantly with words is, it's there, but you can't bring it forward. And they don't even notice that it's a blank until someone points it out. It's just, It's like they remember that stuff happened, but they can't recall specific, like all of this stuff with Ned and MJ, they know it happened. They just can't remember bits of it.
Right.
And they don't even think about trying to remember. So I think that's where the spell could fall apart in the future, is if someone, had them focus on it.
She still is at the end of this. MJ is still wearing that necklace that Peter gave her.
Yeah, which I think shows that she did care about Peter for Peter and not just Spider-Man.
Right. So I think maybe something with the necklace might spring about that in her. But you got to think, like, none of the Avengers know who he is. Nobody.
No.
Does that mean that Spider-Man was actually there to help in Endgame?
Yeah, Spider-Man was there.
So
Peter was not.
Spider-Man was still there, but Peter was not. Yeah. Does Doctor Strange remember anything? Because we're going to get to that,
according to the spell, but who knows?
We're going to get to that in his movie.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So there's just so many issues with this one spell, because it leaves you to wonder about these other universes. It leads you to wonder about everything that's happened. Clearly Aunt May was a real person, but nobody knew that this kid was related to her in any way. How did she die? Same way, I'm assuming, but why?
He died helping Spider-Man.
What about video footage? Video footage of,
because they all walked past
Parker?
Happy's camera.
What about the
which I love, by the way. Oh, we didn't say enough about Happy Hogan.
There's not
he's
much.
Brief in this movie, but he's great.
Yeah.
Is that a mudman on my couch?
You guys gotta think. Oh, there's so much video stuff out there of Peter and Spider-Man.
What about that memorial they just built in their school? Is that just vanished?
Right. Or the news broadcasts and everything, because
it's definitely a gigantic plot hole. Yeah,
forget, but does that erase actual physical things there?
Yeah, like I said, this is the worst part of the movie, in my opinion, is this damn spell. And I think it's appropriate that it's not until the end that we deal with it, because it gives them time to work their way out of this fucking hole they created. But in the meantime, we're just stuck sitting here stewing over it.
Multiverse of Madness may fix everything.
It very much
Or
could
make everything even worse. Because
which is what we got after the credits instead of the usual end. This is the second time they've done the trailer instead of a scene.
Well, after the mid-credit scene, we get a scene
which I want to get into because that one pissed me off too.
That continues from a scene from Venom.
Let There Be Carnage.
Let There Be Carnage is what it is.
Venom. Eddie Brock he's like, I'm in another universe. He's drunk. He's like, I'm in a different universe. There's heroes here. Oh, Venom is ecstatic.
And they knocked everybody out of existence.
Venom is ecstatic because he's like, other heroes. I want to be a hero. He's like, let's go skinny dipping. And then they disappear and they're like, no, I just got here, which is taken for many different ways. They just got into the MCU. He literally just got there with, physically, the character. And I'm just like, why did you fucking do that to begin with?
So if people don't
just leave him there.
If people didn't watch Venom Carnage end credit scene, there's an end credit scene where Venom and Eddie are in the hotel room and they're just discussing shit. And he says something about that. I don't remember what Eddie wanted to know. Oh, he said something about other universes. And Venom's like, oh, I can, we're all a hive mind throughout the multiverse and everything like that. So he connects to the hive mind, which supposedly connects to the multiverse. In doing so, in that end credit scene, they just shake and teleport basically into the same room, but the TV's on and you get to see Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Peter Parker is Spider-Man or whatever. Jeez, dog. Yeah. And then that's how they end that scene there. Oh, we got to meet this guy, or he looks cute, or I think Venom licks the screen or some shit.
Yeah.
Is what it was. And so then you get this scene to complete that, which still looks like they're in like Tijuana or wherever the hell they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So
the whole hive mind multiverse aspect is relatively new. I wasn't aware of it during either film until after the fact. So it explains a lot.
It does explain it. So for people that were asking, well, how was he even there? He didn't know who Peter Parker was. He didn't even have one in his universe. Well, he knew because of the hive mind, because somewhere some Venom knew or some symbiote knew. Yeah, so you just take Topher Grace's Venom, knew who he was.
Oh, Grayson. I keep calling him Topher Mac. Who the hell's that? Is that a name I made up?
Singer, maybe? I don't know.
Oh.
Toby Mac is a singer.
Yeah, I might be combining names.
It's Topher Grace.
Yeah.
So
Eric.
That's how
Foreman.
He could know who Peter Parker is, even though he himself doesn't know. The symbiote hive mind does. And connecting to it is what brought them there, because they did it probably at the same time the fucking spell happened, blah, 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 blah. Issue. They disappear, but a small piece of symbiote is left behind.
Yeah.
Issue. It's a fucking spell. It wouldn't leave a piece of freaking shit behind. It's not a teleporter, dumbasses.
I have a feeling Sony was in charge of these this after credit scene.
This was totally a Sony scene because it made no goddamn sense to the whole fucking story. Everything else disappeared. The fuck you talking like? Okay. It wouldn't fucking work, and they're not going to play on it anyways. That symbiote is not going to show up later.
Well, we do have Secret War coming up, which is when Peter gets the symbiote in the comics.
Yeah. Maybe. I want the one where Dr. Doom just releases all the symbiotes onto New York and it says, no, you're not going on me. Fuck you. I'm stronger than you. You'll make me weak. That's the
Yeah.
one I want them to adapt. What was that? Venom Wars or some shit like that? Or not
Oh,
Venom
God,
Wars.
I don't
Symbiote
even
Wars?
remember.
I forget what that was called.
Speaking of Doom, though, the director of this trilogy of Tom Holland movies
Mhm.
will be directing Fantastic Four.
Oh,
So I'm excited for that.
the Symbiote War. Yeah. War of the Symbiotes.
Or Symbiote War, as they said in the first Venom movie, which is an annoying way to pronounce it.
Symbiote. Well, maybe yeah. So that was Spider-Man. And then final thoughts on the movie. I love the fucking movie. I love the nostalgia.
It's so
of
fucking
it.
good.
I love
I
the
think
emotions, everything. And I cried during this movie a couple of times. So
one of the things I think makes it work more than the other movies that have so many characters, they skip the origins. They just assume you know these characters and go right into it. And I think that's what you have to do.
This is definitely a movie made for comic book movie watchers.
Yes.
I won't say comic book readers, but comic book movie watchers.
But
because I know if you've seen the Tom Holland shit, you've probably seen these other Spider-Mans.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And I mean, it's so good. The only points I have to take off of it is that it is, again, as I just said, it assumes you've seen those other films, which you really should before going into this, because it adds just so much.
Yeah.
And this in return adds a lot to those old. I'm looking forward to going rewatching these movies now.
Yeah.
And I can't stand the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
So before we get into that trailer that showed up.
Yes.
Little nice thing here, possibly for my head canon, at least next time I go and watch all the movies.
Was it Rogers the Musical Billboard?
No.
Which I forgot to bring up.
Which is in Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Which fucking hell. Okay. Here, let me talk about that real quick. We finished Hawkeye, and then there was that end credit scene that was literally the whole Rogers play. I was like, this is it. Like I watched the whole thing waiting for something.
I was so happy about that.
I was like waiting for something to happen, or like, for another Avenger to be in the audience, or like anything. Like you could have had Cap in the fucking audience, like old man Cap.
Cap is dead, apparently.
He is not dead. They are fucking crazy. I would love to see old man Cap back in the Cap suit, like in the comics, bro. I'm
telling you, I think Falcon and Winter Soldier made it sound like he's dead.
Yeah, well, they also made it sound like everybody was a dumbass. So,
oh God, you got to watch the making of that show. It's everything they're so excited about is what failed.
Anyways, with the Spider-Man stuff. So in Spider-Man 2, Doc Ock, in this movie anyways, Spider-Man or Doc Ock says, I got pulled out when I had Spider-Man by his neck.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming that's when they go back, maybe that's why in Spider-Man 2 Doc Ock's personality changes.
I mean, if that's true, then why didn't any of the personalities change it into the other movies?
Watch this now. Now in Spider-Man, when Green Goblin was fighting Spider-Man, he was taken away. He gets put back, and that's when he gets hit with the glider. He doesn't talk with the freaking goblin face when he says, uh-oh. And then asks in his normal voice. He's not the goblin anymore. He asks, make sure Harry doesn't know about any of this. Maybe he got put back. I can do this.
Okay.
I can keep doing it.
Explain Electro and Lizard then.
Lizard, he just gets put back right when he was peeling back out of his fucking skin.
So wouldn't he have been taken as he was coming out of his skin?
He goes to jail. Anyways.
No, that one doesn't work at all.
Oh, a Lizard. Okay, so Lizard in his movie got taken. We don't know when he got. He got taken before he gets turned back into human. So if that's the case, he goes back and he's just that morphing is just him being human now.
So he got stuck with another cure.
Yeah. Why not?
I don't.
Only
think
one I
that-
can't explain is Electro and Sandman, because we never see Sandman human again.
It doesn't work.
Although we don't know when Sandman was taken, because he never says that he was taken during one of the movie stuff.
It's after Spider-Man 3. We know that because he's friendly with Spidey already.
And he says, "Remember me?" So yeah.
No.
So I don't know that one. Electro's the one I'm not sure we could explain away with that, because he just
No, you can't. You can't explain any of them away. They're all just going to die again. All of their efforts are in vain.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Fate, as we hear in Doctor Strange's trailer. Fate, sir. It doesn't matter how much you change. Fate has your back.
I acknowledge your headcanon and I throw it away.
And the first two are good. Come on. Those ones
they're all right, but I like to think that they are happier endings for all.
But they're all talking about they got swept away right before they died anyways. You're telling me that's not going to happen anyway? In the heat?
Well, no, they created more branches of universes.
Doc Ock literally has to still drag his machine into the water.
Oh yeah, he's going to die regardless. But there's no saving him. They took him at the worst time.
And Green Goblin is literally going to get hit by his blaster.
Not necessarily.
Oh yeah. I'm telling you, man, watch those with that thought process in mind. At least those two.
Like I said, I'll acknowledge your headcanon, but I am throwing it away.
Oh, you suck. I just realized now that they took one villain from each movie. How did it take me that long to realize that? Oh shit. I wonder if the only reason they brought Electro in was to
didn't want the Goblin dude.
Well, not only that, but to redeem the character, look and feel and everything for Jamie Foxx.
Oh, I loved how they gave him the light turning into his comic mask.
Oh yeah, on his head. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Do you like that they gave him like the fireman's uniform, the electrical uniform or whatever it was?
See, that one is a bit weird because that's more Shocker, which we already saw Shocker in.
We saw two Shockers.
Homecoming, two of them. Yeah.
One of them got blasted, and the other one was Shocker for a while. I don't know. What did he get arrested or die? The other guy. Dude, Shocker was like one of my favorites.
I think Vulture killed him. Because he was telling Vulture they needed to stop, and Vulture's like, nah.
Must have been on the plane or something.
Don't unplug my headphones.
But yeah, Shocker was one of my favorites just because of the suit.
This kind of explains a little bit of the upcoming Spider-Man animated show that's going to be on Disney Plus.
Okay.
The fact that it's the hand drawing type style, it's him writing down his history, so there's some record of it. Like
the Peter Parker thingy?
The Spider-Man freshman year or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be Tom Holland Spider-Man writing down his accounts of everything.
Well, I mean, it makes the trailer they have, it looks like it's very hand drawn.
Uh-huh.
And they're going for like the original comic type aesthetic for the animation. So I think this makes sense. It's him after the spell creating some kind of record of his events.
Gotcha.
So it's just little in-universe explanation.
One last thing too on the Spider-Man movie for me anyways. Well, two. One is just a comment. This They also show him go back to MJ and Ned, see how happy they are, see
See the wound on her head.
and then he backs away and doesn't bring up who he is, try and convince her or anything, because he doesn't want to put her in danger again, which is a nice little touch. They didn't say that, but you understand why, especially if you know any Spider-Man stuff like that. Next thing, what did you think about the new suit we are getting or got at the very end of this? The first time we see this Peter Parker sewing a suit together.
Oh, I thought you meant the...
No, not that one. The one that he wears at the end that he actually made himself.
I thought it was cool.
Sweatpants.
It's a bit weird that it's so brightly blue, but I think it looked really good.
It's very shiny fabric for sure. Yeah.
He's going to have trouble moving around at night.
In the shadows.
Yeah.
What did you think about his outfit? He turned inside out. The black one.
It was kind of ingenious.
Yeah. I was like, okay. And so many, I know so many people bought the action figure of that one, thinking it was like this totally rad, like stealth suit or some shit. And
Yeah.
you got attacked by a cat. And on all of this is a freaking suit turned inside out. So that was fun.
Yeah.
Do you want to discuss any of the trailer? The Doctor Strange trailer.
It really looks like Strange is going to get a similar comeuppance in his film. Like, at least the way they're alluding to it. Obviously, you know, it's a Marvel trailer. They always put shit in there to be red herrings, but
right.
It looks to me as of right now that, like, you fucked with the universe. There's repercussions.
Right. And I know a lot of people probably think it's based on him fucking with the Spider-Man stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's it. I think it's exactly how we saw shit go down in What If with him, where he creates an alternate timeline by splitting off again. So
maybe, I don't know.
And then a part of me kind of is like, well, what if he did that for Spider-Man? That's all in his own universe now. We're still good over here. That would piss so many fucking people off, by the way.
I don't know if that one works.
But no, like I feel in his movie, because you see him at a wedding, it's not with him, and it's his girl. And you actually see, if you pay attention to the trailer, like I've watched the trailer a few times now that it's online and everything, there's more than one. There's more than two Doctor Stranges in this trailer. You have R. Strange, you have Strange Supreme, and there's a couple others like hidden in there. And so I'm wondering.
So you think he's going to be having a council of stranges?
Oh yeah.
Kind of like the Council of Wells.
Yeah. I'm wondering if he's going to be, well, I mean, it's multiverse of madness. So of course he's going to other universes. I wonder
if we get Brother Voodoo.
Ooh, I would love that, dude. Give me that. I'm curious if Loki shows up though.
Yeah, that's
especially with
that's the big one is
having a past together already.
Mm-hmm.
Well, oh no, this Loki didn't have a past with him.
No, that's true.
Oh, dang. Okay. But yeah, I wonder if Loki shows up and everything else. So
well,
we have some fun with it.
Regular Loki didn't really have a past with him either. He died before Infinity War. They get to Earth.
Remember Thor Ragnarok?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he locked him away.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
That's the history they have together, is him getting thrown down a portal.
I've been falling for half an hour.
Yeah. But I can also see that being how Loki gets into the timeline again and all that shit like that too. Mm-hmm. If we're not, I know they're doing another season of Loki, but bro, I don't even know where they're going to go with it.
No, and we also have Ant-Man, which is also going to be dealing with multiverse.
I thought that's the quantum realm.
Wow. There's a lot of rumors about the quantum realm right now. That might be where the TVA is.
Right.
Because it definitely looks like when they time traveled in Endgame, they went through the quantum realm.
Well, they did. It's quantum time travel. Is what
So people are thinking that the way the MCU is setting it up, the quantum realm might be part of the Nexus.
Mm. That would make sense. Because it's the safest and only way to actually time travel without going to a different timeline is what the quantum realm travel would do.
Speaking of Loki, I loved the continuity with the effect of where they broke the timeline. It looked exactly like where that rock of what is, I want to call it the Rock of Eternity, but that's Shazam's thing.
Yeah.
The ending to Loki.
Yeah. That was really cool. Yeah, so I'm interested to see when this movie comes out, Doctor Strange. We got another half a year still to that movie? I think it's
let's see. I got it right here.
1, 2, 3 or 4 months.
As of recording, 121 days. So May, the first Friday in May.
Okay, so it's still a little bit out. I know
I got to delay Morbius again.
Morbius just got pushed back again.
What universe does this fucking movie take place in? That's all I want to know.
It's gonna.
We got Venom reference. We got Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. We have Amazing Spider-Man Daily Bugle.
We have Spider-Man.
We have Murderer from Tom Holland.
They don't know what anything is anymore, man. I think they're just.
This is so frustrating.
They're throwing it all in there. JJ is going to be in there too, right?
I don't know. Maybe, probably.
That movie has got me lost already. I kind of want to just see it to understand where it takes place at. Honestly,
I'm sure it's not going to be great. But God, I'm so frustrated with what the fuck is going on.
You have Vulture in it. Ooh, and
Vulture's in it. I forgot about him.
Oh, what if they did a deal with DC, Sony and DC, and it's not Vulture, it's Bruce Wayne?
Yeah, good luck. W can't even figure out their own shit. You think they're gonna let someone else do it?
Fucking Flash fucked up. He put me in the wrong universe.
Oh, yeah, all right, that'd be funny.
See,
God, a Flashpoint. Oh, the Flashpoint reference in this, just so Marvel could be like, we did it first for once.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Because DC is always rushing to beat them at everything.
When is the Flash movie coming out?
As of right now, right? November.
Oh shit. Okay. I thought
first Friday in November.
Nope.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. And then last but not least, I guess, Hawkeye to end the year of last year. I watched it all in like 3 days. It's only 6 episodes. What were your thoughts on it, dude?
Dude, that show is awesome.
Yeah.
I
know you kept getting on me to watch it, so I ended up watching it after vacation.
Yeah, after we met for the first time in person. Dude, I loved it. I love the street level. I've been missing that so much, like more than I realized. Please don't break anything. And the Kingpin, my complaint, how they utilized him, but I think there's going to be more in the future.
Yeah.
The fact that Vincent D'Onofrio, that's the actor, right?
Yes, Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah. All right, cool. I pronounced him right. He's saying that he wanted it to be like the way he went about the performance. He wanted it to be a seamless transition from the Daredevil shows to this.
Mm-hmm.
Like he wants no discrepancies. And my confusion was the Hawaiian shirt he was wearing, but apparently Ian, who I'm not even going to attempt the last name of, our previous guest from Comic Geek Speak, he posted the the image of it from the comics. And I was like, oh, that explains so much because I'm not used to Kingpin wearing Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah, I was a little confused by that, but I also I think it was my wife was saying something about why he's like, because we were talking about him because he's kind of like low level almost in this show, even though he's not, but he's like meeting in these weird little places and shit like that. He didn't seem upper class Kingpin that we last saw him. So, but when
I saw some speculation on that they think he might have been snapped as well. I'm not saying blip. Fuck you.
Well,
that he might have been snapped and is trying to rebuild his empire.
That's what I said. I think like he probably got snapped away, and because of no, he couldn't have, because he told Ronan where the girl's dad was at. He was the one there.
That's true. Yeah, he couldn't have been.
So my thought is he used during the snap. He might
the power vacuum.
The what?
Because Ronan, like, how many of those, heads of people disappeared? Ronan killing people left and right. There was probably a huge power vacuum.
Right. That's what I think is where Kingpin did, because you clearly see Hawkeye scared of him. He didn't want to fuck with him.
Well, did you see when he introduced that guy to his car door?
Yeah. So I assume like Ronan killing off all these people just left all these spots open, and Kingpin just took over. And he's not doing the high class stuff he was doing. It seems like he doesn't give a shit about his love interest from the show. I don't recall
Vanessa.
what happened with Vanessa. Yeah, I don't recall everything that happened.
She's
I know she
overseas.
That's what it was
At the end of Daredevil,
jail, right?
At the end of Daredevil, he's back in jail.
Yeah, so he must have got out during the snap, I'm assuming.
Which Daredevil season 3, probably the best of the Netflix seasons, by the way. If you stopped at 2 for whatever reason, go watch 3, please.
With Bullseye, right? Spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. We plan on going back and rewatching Daredevil, especially after seeing Spider-Man with Daredevil in it, Hawkeye with Kingpin. I think they did a really good job too of, like I said earlier, of lining these two shows up with kind of dealing with somewhat of the same stuff in a way. But also you introduce Kingpin, and then the next day you dropped Spider-Man and Daredevil's in it. So it's not even like they had Kingpin in there. They just had a picture of him in the one episode right before Spider-Man came out.
Yep.
So it was also nice to see that they still kept with they're still building Kingpin's power levels up in Hawkeye's show, which was really cool, because you got to see, he fucking ripped the car door right off, dude. He didn't give a shit. And then he got shot with an arrow. He's like, nope.
Well, I mean, he's had to deal with Daredevil doing how much shit. He's probably got stuff underneath his suit.
Well, he's also supposed to be just big and muscular too.
Yeah.
Like superhuman almost.
So
I'd like to see him do in a Spider-Man movie. I really would.
Tiny tangent. Did you see what Morbius's new release date is?
No.
April 1st.
So it's not coming out.
No, it's not.
Morbius has become the new Mutants. This movie is going to take 7 years to come out, because it was supposed to come out right before COVID closed everything down, right?
Yeah, that year it was supposed to be like 7 or 6 months straight of one comic book related movie a month.
Yeah,
and it was that was supposed to be the end movie in July of 2020.
That was 3 years ago now? 2 years ago?
2 years ago, yeah, a year and a half.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But the whole fact that we hear the gunshot with Echo and Kingpin, he's not dead. They cut away for a reason. If you don't see them die on screen, kind of like Steve Rogers, but clearly they want us to think he's dead.
Until they want to use him again.
Yeah, I think he's going to play a big role in the Echo spinoff.
Maybe.
Because in the comics, Echo actually blinds Kingpin. Wait, is it blind or deafen? She might deafen him.
Blinds.
Okay, it is blind.
Probably
all right.
blinds. Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with it, where they take the character next. And D'Onofrio seems like he's really into the character.
Oh,
and
yeah, he
never
is. He's been campaigning harder than the fans.
Yeah. Maybe he just likes to have a bald head. He's not really bald either. That's the sad thing.
He's so good in the role.
Yeah.
Like, he is Kingpin personified. Like,
he's just a great actor, dude. Like, if people haven't seen, like, you take his Kingpin role and then you go and watch him in Jurassic World, and he's a total douchebag in that. You don't see them as the same person. Like, and that's a sign of a good actor, I feel. Whereas The Rock, it's the fucking Rock. Like, I know, oh, you're the same dude. Even in Jungle Cruise, you were the same fucking dude.
Like, Michael Clark Duncan, I loved his performance, but holy shit, Vincent D'Onofrio just nails it.
Well, D'Onofrio is also on the side of comic book stuff to where the writing was better for him. They actually developed the characters a little bit better, especially with his long form of, on TV, because he was in all 3 seasons, right? Or was it just 2? I think it was 2 seasons. He
had a brief appearance in season 2.
Yeah.
When Punisher goes to jail, he's like briefly seen.
And he was in season 1 then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
He's the main villain of season 1 and 3.
Yeah. And then he gets Punisher the fuck out of prison because he doesn't want Punisher in the prison with him.
Yeah. Nobody wants Punisher in the prison.
I laughed my ass off when we were watching that. I looked over at my wife and I was like, he's only fucking doing that because he doesn't want to deal with him, right? Like, he doesn't care about helping him. He just doesn't want him in there. He knows he'll kill everybody.
Oh God, these shows are so good.
I need to go back and rewatch the Punisher ones too. I think I'm done, man. I think I'm good.
Yeah, I gotta start wrapping up here.
One last thing on the Spider-Man that I found really cool was when Strange pushed Peter Parker's essence out of his body. And his I'm assuming we're alluding to the
spider tingle sense. Peter Tingle.
So that was kind of cool because Strange is like, you shouldn't be able to do that. So it would be cool to explore that more. And it would have been cool to explore Ned's powers a little bit more, but we might not.
The Hobgoblin thing was kind of alluded to again when he's talking to Toby's Peter. He's like, oh yeah, I had a best friend once.
Yeah.
Then he died after trying to kill me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to go over here then.
And Garfield was like, dude, no. So depressing. Or no, it was very tragic is what Toby said. And he says it in like this perfect like stance. He doesn't show emotion really or anything. And it's just like, wow. Dude, these actors must have had so much fun doing this movie, man.
I had fun watching this. I can't wait to watch it again.
Yeah. And then, like I said, it's not a perfect film, but it's really entertaining to watch for sure.
The good way outweighs the bad.
Yeah. Especially for fans, I think, too. If you're not a fan of the other shit or Spider-Man in general, you probably won't have as much fun.
No. If you're not a fan of Spider-Man, avoid this movie.
Right.
Because there's a lot of it.
Of any Spider-Man. So, all right. Well, with that said, dude, how did you enjoy today's episode of Operation Babble?
I liked it.
Good. My quote for the day comes from Spider-Man No Way Home. And it's really a quote that I can live by because I expected to be disappointed in this movie, and I was not disappointed in this movie. So when MJ said this quote, this is a quote from MJ, Michelle Jones Watson, in Spider-Man No Way Home. It is as follows. And thank you guys for listening today. And if you want to, leave us some reviews, comments, all that fun crap everywhere that you listen. Tivis?
Wait, did you do the quote?
No, not yet.
Okay. I'm like, did I just blank out? What the hell is happening?
I'm ending on the quote, bro.
Oh, okay.
You had a mini stroke. It's cool.
Yeah, I seriously panicked. Like, did I just black out? Holy shit.
Well, if you guys want to contact us, we're on all the social media, Twitter, Facebook, at Operation Babble, and you can reach us at operationbabble@outlook.com to let us know how we're doing, and leave us some comments and reviews and likes, dislikes, all that crap. You got something else?
Next week is a big week for DC as Superman and Lois season 2, Naomi and Peace Walker come out.
Fun. Awesome.
Peacemaker.
With that said, my quote is from Spider-Man No Way Home by MJ. If you expect disappointment, then you can never really get disappointed.
It's
Later.
true.
It's damn true. Later.
You just finished another great episode of Operation Babble. You can catch every episode of Operation Babble on all your audio streaming services, including SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Radio Public, and more. Don't forget to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Operation Babble, and join the conversation today by searching for the Operation Babble group on Facebook. Links also in the description. Thanks and have a great day.